knows he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Buddy Martin Show. Tell it like it is / Taco Tuesday. I want to send a shout out to Gator Bait's own Dan Bond. Got David Baldoff from DeLand, Florida. And with us tonight, we got Rob Brown of SEC Sidelines and Brendan Martin, executive producer of the Buddy Martin Show, as well as SEC Sidelines. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Big night, as always. Lots going on.
Lots going on. Yeah, and big surprise for the Gators. We'll jump right to it, Rob. I don't know if you heard, Jack Pyburn, defensive end, was had a great year. Kind of came out of nowhere, but it dealt with some injuries, a knee issue. And, of all the transfers that we've seen from the Gators, I think this was the most surprising because he had turned the corner. I had a conversation with a couple of coaches on the football staff. They were very pleased with the way that Jack had come along, and he was really, really starting to turn the corner. They were excited about him, but, announced that he would be transferring. Word is possibly Texas A&M, some other places, and, we'll jump right to it. I mean, I think the rumor or the word is that NIL money was involved, and, obviously there's some higher bidders out there, I guess, than the Gators, but we talk about it all the time. This is the new normal, but I was surprised. I really thought that Jack was in the fold and ready to make that next step with the program. But, Brendan or Rob, I know, Brendan, you're a little closer. Rob, you may know the young man, but are you surprised?
Rob, I'll go first. I would say I'm not surprised by the young. Nothing against him. I'm just not surprised because this is where we're at. Right, Rob? I mean, yeah. This is the new normal, right? Like it's going to be highest bidder. Are you going to blame the guy for going for a lot more money? Probably not.
Right.
Well, look at that wide receiver from Georgia Tech. It's getting paid. I think he got $300,000 at Georgia Tech. Now he's supposedly wanting $800,000. I mean, look, the NFL has contracts. They have structure. There's a system in place. There are no guardrails here. We're going to have to do it. I am an absolute capitalist, free market guy.
No doubt.
At the same time, you can't make 5 or 10% commission selling a municipal bond. It used to be it was a lot higher. The market took that down because of transparency. I think what we need is transparency, like we do in the securities. These guys want to be treated like professionals. In the securities business, if you sell a bond, you can look on the PIC, you can look on Bloomberg, you can see where it trades up or down, $1 or $2 up here or down. You better be in that range, okay? Or you're going to get dinged if you don't. I think the only laws that colleges have to be concerned about, I talked to my attorney just before I came on the show. He's an antitrust expert. He said, it's antitrust laws. It's not the regular laws. So I don't know. I've
told people, here's the thing, and that's what you bring up, that COURT.
Yeah.
Where does that 12-0 decision on the NIL that was passed down by the Supreme Court? It's going to be interesting to see where the antitrust laws and then that decision from the Supreme Court holds, because I've talked to people and I talked to a lawyer, it's going to be interpretation, obviously, as you know, in the law, but it's that decision that's out there that I keep saying that Supreme Court decision is going to be tough to override because it's out there. I don't know how they deal with it, and I'm sure we get a lawyer on the show one day and talk about it. But kind of getting away from that, but kind of looking at Jack Pyburn and others at Florida. Jakeem Jackson, also a guy that started for the Gators before he got hurt. I mean, you can't even. How do coaches rest at night, Rob? With I'm playing this kid. The kid gets hurt. I'm with him. He's still on the team. We're doing everything. We're keeping him involved as much as we can. And he still goes and jumps on us. I mean, you could be playing a guy. I mean, a guy like Jack Pyburn was the bee's knees for all the edge rushers and all the success they had for the last 4 to 5 weeks. He was the guy people were talking about. I mean, people were talking about Jack Pyburn playing well, securing the edge, doing all these things. I mean, he had a sack against Florida State, and it was his first sack all year. And people were like, I can't believe that's his first sack all year, because he had been playing and pressuring and things like that. And like I said, Jakeem Jackson was starting every game alongside Jason Marshall Jr. before basically was playing, and he's in there. I mean, how do you sleep it? Let's bring it to football. I mean, as a coach, how do you operate in that realm? I mean, or am I being, and be real with me, are we naive to think that the honor among men is lost from this game? I mean, maybe I'm just such a purist that I just can't wrap my head around it.
Well, you're right. Coaches aren't sleeping at night. Their teams look like crap. A lot of them do. They're not prepared. You got a bowl game. You're okay. You have national signing date last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then you got, you get through with that over the weekend. Monday morning, the portal opens, and you got to deal with that till December 28th. Have fun during Christmas holidays, Then you got to re-recruit your current team. Then you got to kiss ass to all these 18, 19-year-old kids, which is what you're doing. And I'm telling you right now, what coaches are having to do, they're not going to tell you this, but you and I, we all know it. There's certain positions on the team. Let's say they sign a bunch of wide receivers, and they've got to placate those guys. So maybe they're not emphasizing a running game. Not too long ago in the Southeastern Conference, if you needed to impose your will on somebody, you did it with a bunch of big hogs on the offensive line.
Right.
Now, we really don't see that much anymore. What we've got is a bunch of softies out there, and how many Lomas Browns are out there? How many Bill Fralics are out there? And how many Willie Andersons are out there? It's very difficult right now. If you don't have an offensive lineman for at least 2 years in the program to develop him, he's not going to develop. And if he bounces around from school to school, like Robbie Ashford, Oregon, Auburn, South Carolina, and now he's back in the portal.
All right.
I know we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
No. You good. We, talk about somebody who's all in. The people at Meldon Law, Florida's only official injury law firm. Meldon Law, they won't back down. And if you follow Meldon Law on Instagram or Facebook, I mean, they've just done a lot for the University of Florida, the UF band. But like I said, they also give a number of great opportunities for tickets to the Gainesville community. And even if you have a law issue that doesn't deal with, skilled, injury or things like that, they can point you in the right direction to somebody. I know they helped myself and Buddy as well with some estate stuff. So Meldon Law, proven and skilled injury lawyer since 1971. Meldon Law, we won't back down. And, we talk about just the transfer portal, but now we're into this first new realm of things, Rob, with the playoff. And we all watched the games on Saturday night. Brendan, I know you talked about it a little bit. You were kind of high on SMU, if I'm correct, but I know there's a lot of discrepancies and a lot of, not controversy, but opinions that maybe Alabama should have got in over SMU. But in the big scheme of things, guys, did the playoff committee get it right, or are we missing? Because my thing is, I thought we were going to get the 12 best teams. Did we get the 12 best teams with this playoff?
Hell no. Not even close.
I mean, like they didn't even get close on this deal.
Right.
Like I thought they'd get a little better than this, but it's bad.
Yeah,
It was bad. Okay.
It's real bad.
So let's throw it out there. So I mean, we got, obviously you got to go. I'm not, and let me say this. I'm a big fan. I like the quote unquote NCAA basketball model where the conference champs at least get in automatically. I'm not necessarily sure that they should get the first round buys, but I do think if you win one of the 4 major conferences, you should get a first round buy. Does anybody disagree with me on that, or is it, is that fair enough?
I would say it's fair. I think the buy is always, even in NCAA basketball, like the buy is always controversial. It's hard to, look, the model's great, but the sport is very different. So from logistically to, like everything. So I think you have to look at it a little bit, but I think you have to play and you have to reward a conference champion. I think, and I know what Rob's going to say, because we had a guest on today, we talked, really just talked about like getting rid of it's time to just get rid of the conference games. It's time to just be done with it because it's not serving anybody. And I would really say throw in the bowl games and expand the playoffs because it's not making sense. It's like we have 2 different things going on at the same time. And I know it's corporate sponsorship. I just think we're in that weird transition right now where we're trying. This year sucks, and I will say this as a caveat. What a bummer to me about this year is that this has been a really fun year to watch college football. It's been so for a while there. I felt like, man, they got it right. They got it right. And I think we all knew that the playoff was going to be wrong.
Right. Well, before you go in, Rob, I want to say, let's run it down and then you can go with it, Rob. You got number 1, Oregon, 2, Georgia, 3, Boise State, based on being one of the higher ranked conference champions. Arizona State 4, Texas 5, Penn State 6, Indiana 7, Ohio State 8, Tennessee 9, Indiana is 10. So SMU 11, and rounding out the 12, Clemson, the champions of the ACC. So I guess my question is, and this is a simple question for me. I think when you look at, let's say you take the conference champs, I'm with that. My issue is why is it so hard for somebody to just simply say Alabama is better than SMU? I'll just throw that one out there. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, first off, you're talking about NIL busts. Who was that guy? Knowles Warini, the guy at Missouri, the big freshman edge rusher. The big 5-star. They put together a big. Yeah. You saw his stats, didn't you? As a freshman, what 2.5 tackles? He's already in the portal.
Right, and he came and he went to Missouri, and he went to Missouri because he could make the most. He's the kid from like St. Louis, something, right?
No, yeah. Kansas City.
Okay, but he's
City area.
Kansas City, Missouri, right? He's on the Missouri side, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And you know that NIL deal in Missouri is once you commit, if you're an in-state kid, you can start getting NIL money in high school. Correct,
right? That was my yes, sir.
That's a disaster. That's their Jaden Rashada. Okay, so. We tried to include people. That doesn't work. You hire the best, you pick the best. Alabama would boat race every team in the ACC. And I think they're good, but they would run roughshod through them. But here's some stats. Lane Kiffin is 4-20 in his career as a coach against teams that finished with 9 or more wins. James Franklin is 1-14 at Penn State against teams ranked in the top 5. Okay, Penn State, it's a joke. They're going to have a pajama party up there. They want to have a big whiteout. Tennessee is the 3rd best team in the SEC. Ohio State's the 4th best team. They lost at Oregon, but they lost at home to a very pedestrian 7-5 Michigan team. It's all about the 80% of the TV sets in America live in the geographical footprint of the Big Ten. That's all this is about. And Boise, Alabama would, if Alabama was dialed in, they would destroy Boise. It creates interest around the country, which I'm for, but put them in because they're the best teams, not because they check this box or that box. That's what they're trying to do. They did not get it right, and I'm shocked. I'm disappointed that Greg Sankey did not stand up and fight. I tell you, who's fought harder for the SEC, Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah,
He's
well,
out there.
and Cam Newton. I mean, really, give
They're
Cam
all
credit.
out there doing it.
But
and you know what? They're doing it. And Paul Feinbaum, whatever you want to say about him, that guy, once you corner Paul, he will come out on fire for the SEC. And that's what he does because he really believes that.
Right.
He knows.
Well, let me throw this out there. So now I'm of the ilk of, I'm not necessarily saying Ohio State should not be in. I think
they should be in.
I think they should be in. Yeah. And they're 8th. So I mean we can but my issue is that necessarily at 11.
This is awesome.
Maybe 3, maybe 4. I mean, that's where, I mean, and I know they won the conference, so you got to live with it. But like I said, I don't know. At least let's get the top 4 seeded, to where, and I know it'll be neutral field games, so nobody has to go play on the blue turf at Boise or things like that. I mean, that's fine. But I do think I'm with you. I think Alabama would boat race half these teams up here. I mean, they would put it on them, and it'll be, and that 8-9 interest that is a reputation matchup, Rob. Would you say so? Because if Tennessee goes up there in the cold and puts foot in Ohio State, I mean, Ohio State's basically carrying the flag of the Big Ten, even though Oregon, because nobody really, I mean, that's still a year in. But for all the naysayers, like, and I'm not saying like yourself, but saying it's a TV grab. I mean, there are a ton of people in Ohio that are from Tennessee. So that game is going to have so many, I mean, it's going to be unbelievable, that atmosphere for that game. But they are literally carrying the flag for the Big Ten next week. Because if they go down, it's going, because I think Penn State will beat SMU. And that's, but I'm talking about when you talk about Big Ten big timer versus SEC big timer,
Well, one thing I'll tell you, when Arkansas joined the SEC in '92, they played Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, and I'll never forget going to that game and going, God, these guys are small. SMU looked like a middle school team playing a high school powerhouse. As far as the cold weather goes, I live in Memphis. I duck hunt in my farm in Mississippi and in Arkansas. I'm out in the cold.
I want to go duck hunting. It sucks.
Yeah,
I want to go duck hunting. I'm getting a camera crew, and I'm going to go duck hunting for my first time.
And I probably duck hunted over 1,500 times.
I'm gonna sit back at the cabin and laugh.
They drink a lot. They drink a lot.
Oh, that's
we do, and we eat 10 slabs of ribs every weekend, couple of briskets, chicken. We eat gumbo, grits and grillade. It's unreal. Well, let me tell you something. I'm used to the cold weather. I run in it. I bike in it. I swim outside until they put the dome up in the cold. I think that's, and I know it's overrated. I remember the 1976 Liberty Bowl. Alabama was a big underdog against UCLA, one of the best teams in the country. And the Liberty Bowl, it was 9 degrees that night in Memphis in December. They always had it the following Monday after the NFL season ended because they had that spot on ABC for Monday Night Football. The Alabama players came out in cut-off T-shirts with, in that cold weather, and that freaked UCLA out. And if I'm not mistaken, they beat UCLA 38-6 that night. And I got to meet Coach Bryant after the game and watch him smoke a Chesterfield cigarette, and he kind of growled at me. But I think the cold weather is going to actually fire up these Southern teams. I think they will.
Okay. Well, so you think Tennessee takes that one?
Yeah, I do. I do
Okay.
think they do, but I think it's going to be because of their running game, not because of Jaden Rashad, and not because of Nico Iamaleava.
And Nico, yeah. Let's get off
My
Rashada.
apologies.
We'll
That
worry
was
about
Sunday.
that down the
That
road.
was
Yeah, we're not
Bucky's.
gonna. No, we're not gonna worry about
Apparently,
that.
I'm
So,
sorry.
Rob's fueled by Bucky's tonight.
right. So then we got the. All right.
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
No, I was going.
I've watched Ohio State a couple times this year, so I don't think Tennessee beats Ohio State.
I don't either. I don't think so either. I think because here's my thing about Ohio State and where they differentiate themselves from other Big Ten schools. Now, maybe not this year, but if you look at kids that pick Ohio State, they usually have in their top 5 Ohio State, Florida, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia. It's a different recruiting base. If you look at their roster, it's not built on a lot of guys from the Midwest. I mean, some now, but it's the top of the top in the Midwest. But they get a lot of. I mean, their best player, on offense, is arguably freshman Jeremiah Smith, who's from South Florida. I mean, I think that that's a different look. You look at a lot of guys, I mean, that they leave the state of Florida, they leave the state of Georgia, Texas, and go to Ohio State. And that's where I think from a speed standpoint and things like that, and I tell people this, and a rabid fan base, it's a different atmosphere in Columbus. Now, any other Big Ten school, like if IU was playing Tennessee, give me Tennessee. But I think with the Buckeyes, I agree with you, Brendan. I think that, and they got a great D line full of SEC future NFL guys. I mean, I think they have I think it'll be a similar game like the Florida game if their quarterback Will Howard shows up. That'll be the big thing. If they turn it over, it's just like he did against Michigan. I mean, they outgained Michigan and lost the game because Will Howard threw 2 red zone picks. But from a football standpoint, I think Ohio State has the superior team.
Well, they they do.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we just going around.
Yeah, I didn't mean, I think these games this will be a good game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really a pick 'em, because you just don't know what team's going to show up and you don't know who's going to be loaded.
Right.
I guess everyone's loaded in the playoffs. I would hope. So yeah, I like Ohio State just because I don't know, like them, but I feel like Tennessee always disappoints in the big game, and so I don't know. I just don't know enough about these two type of clashes. So it'll be a really fun matchup because I don't really have a dog in the hunt, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, none of us do. I mean,
right.
I do a little bit because I'm.
Well, I don't
Ohio,
gamble, but I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, and I don't know what the
Go
spread
ahead,
is.
Rob.
I do.
And talk about any other game, Rob, that might interest
Well,
you.
we'll go through them. I just thought it was
Yeah.
interesting. We just do this first one.
I'll say this on Ohio State. I've watched them since I was a kid. The 10-year war. I mean, I grew up with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say you're exactly right. That's what I try and tell people. I go, you look at Urban Meyer when he was at Ohio State, what he did going into Texas. Okay, They recruit. Hell, they had 2 of the top 10 kids in Alabama committed until they didn't on signing day. Naeem Offord ended up getting a shoe deal at Oregon. I mean, how you going to compete with that?
Right.
And then Zion Grady, defensive edge rusher out of Enterprise, Alabama, down in the Wiregrass, he ended up signing with Ohio State. And that was 2 of the top 10. The other 8 in the top 10 in Alabama signed with Alabama Polytechnic Institute. Auburn.
Okay. There you go. So let's
Old people like Buddy would remember that name.
Right. Well, before we'll get on. Well, let's round robin and then we'll talk about actually the Gators bowl game before we go to Kenza and Lexia. But you got let's do the 12-5. It's right underneath Texas, Clemson. Anybody believe in Clemson?
No.
They can't run the ball. Texas will win that game.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even a question. I mean, but I think these next, I mean, like Notre Dame. I mean, do you think Wisconsin's going to beat Notre? I mean, no, excuse me. You think
Indiana
beats Notre Dame?
No,
I don't think.
Not at Notre Dame. No.
The last time Indiana beat them was in '98.
Yeah. they were really
1898.
bad.
1898.
Really bad. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Cignetti's feeling himself, so we'll see. And then anybody, I mean, SMU, give me Penn State on SMU as well.
I've never been on Penn State all year, so I just think this sets up for SMU actually. Right. So I guess I'm still on SMU.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Rob?
Give me Penn State. Now the Gators will go to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
Penn State. I think Penn State's going to win that game. I do, but I think Rhett Lashley's building a hell of a program. He's won 30 games in his first 3 years at SMU. That's the guy's. He's a hell of a coach.
Well, no,
they ain't beating Penn State up there.
Right.
So I just wanted Lauren to reset on the Pyburn thing.
Well, that's what I was going.
Yeah. So my phone is blowing.
Yeah,
Rodney Orr from Tighter Insiders like, is this true? I don't know, Rodney. You got to
I mean, I want to be. I'm going to be Lauren. I'm
the best man.
I'm going to be Lauren Meadows. Lauren Q fan first. Florida will be okay. Everybody relax. I mean, I like Jack Pyburn. I mean, let's keep it real. Okay. I mean, Jack Pyburn is the kid that, I mean, I'm not going to, okay. It's, when you got that kid in high school and, he's first in sprints and he plays hard but he's got, then you got this 6'6" LJ McCray over there.
It's a big deal, dude. Come on.
I mean,
but
why? But is it in the SEC where you're playing 6'7" edge rushers?
It sucks.
You really think so? It sucks.
Think it sucks because
why?
Because defense was emerging at the end of the year.
Okay,
because
but
things were changing and things were going in that right direction.
But he did not lead the team. Who leads the team in sacks?
I know, but you know as well as I do. Sometimes you don't get the sack, but your guy next to you made because he's getting double teamed on the back end, and you're worried about Pyburn.
So in the long run,
opportunities.
So LJ McCray won't be better than Jack Pyburn next year?
No, but it's just like public perception and recruiting. I mean, look, I don't love it. How can I love it? You want me to love it?
I don't want you to hate it.
I don't love it.
I love this. I love you, Brendan, but I don't want you to. The football knowledge you have, you really think that? I mean, it's good. It's worth talking about.
I just think momentum was good.
So, and Jack Pyburn killed the top 10 recruiting class momentum.
It's like missing a field goal.
Now
it's like missing an extra point after a touchdown.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Shamar James is still here, right?
Of course.
LJ McCray's still here, right?
Okay.
Tyreek Sapp's still here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cam Banks said he's coming back, right?
I understand that the case you're building. I'm just talking about the court of public opinion and recruiting and everything else.
Well, I don't think it affects recruiting.
I know it doesn't. Look,
but like
I liked Pyburn. I thought it was good. I thought he was developing.
Right.
I thought I was going to continue. And I don't like training guy. Look, it's like getting an intern for a year.
Mm-hmm.
You train them up. You get them doing what you want. It takes time to develop people at that age. It sucks. I know. I've developed Laura and everybody.
No. But we all three of us are in the development business.
When you put your effort into that at something like, especially this type of a player at this level, it always sucks when they leave.
Did we miss ETN this year?
Yeah.
No, we did not.
A little bit.
Come on, Brendan. Okay, Rob, you watch Florida. Did Florida miss ETN this year? Did we lose Rob?
Rob, you there? Come back, Bobby.
There you go. Yeah, ATN this year, he had an okay year at Georgia. I don't think Florida missed him. I think, but I do say an edge rusher. That's where the money is paid. Look at James Pierce at Tennessee. An edge rusher, if you go back, you know the linebacker who had 27 sacks in a season? You know who that was? Derek Thomas at Alabama.
Well, are we really using Derek Thomas and Jack Pyburn? No.
I'm just giving you an example. And most schools' career sack record for their career is 27.
Right.
But if you've got an edge rusher like this guy, I'm with Brendan. That's a foundation to build around. That sucks to lose a guy like that. But
yeah, maybe it's his years of being a tight end, but it sucks to lose a guy like that.
yeah,
No.
an edge rusher's like a karate guy with his hands. I mean, you don't want to lose those guys. They're hard to find. Look, you lose a guard, you can get over it, but you lose an offensive tackle, you're screwed.
Yeah.
There's not many of them out there.
Right. I agree. But I'm just
They're
saying.
hard to find.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think that, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to Kenza and Lex, but I mean, this is going to be an ongoing thing. But I just think, I mean, yes, it's a surprise because I thought he was a program guy. Transcendent, I think we better be careful. I think in talking to the staff and the way they feel, there are more people in the program that have potential. And that's kind of where I'm at. And speaking of potential, we're going to go to special guests that we have on the show tonight. We're ready for them, Brendan. We are joined. There's Alexia Dazeko. How you doing, Lex?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Doing good. You missing your partner in crime?
Yes, she got a little delayed, but it's all right.
Okay. So, we're joined by Alexia Dazeko, two guard, I guess, combo guard for the Florida Gators, native of Switzerland. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Alexia. I'm a senior here at Florida Gators, and I play basketball since I am 10 years old, and I had an opportunity to play here in America, so I just came, and I really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Now, where are you from exactly in Switzerland?
So I'm from the French part. It's called Sion. It's a little town. I don't think so everybody knows, but it's close to Geneva or Lausanne.
Okay. And kind of staying with that, the premise of international and things like that. You're one of 3 international players on the roster, but your recruiting class has 4 international players as well. I mean, how does that feel? You all had Faith and Birdie last year. I mean, how does that feel being part of a team that has quite a few international players, international flair? Is that something that attracted you to Florida, or was it just happened to be something in common?
I don't know. We just say because everybody say like basketball is from USA, so we got a kind of dream to come here in USA, and like when you got an opportunity, you just want to take it, and they recruit us, and we love everything, like the court, people around, like it's just amazing that we don't have like this here, like over there in Europe. So we just take the opportunity and we just like it, and that's why I think there is more and more overseas players coming here and play in NCAA.
Right. Now, last year you were kind of getting your feet wet, but this year you kind of have more of an expanded role. You all kind of got off to a rousing start, then kind of hit a lull over Thanksgiving. Then you kind of got it back and had that win against Clemson on the road in the SEC ACC Challenge. I mean, speak to a win like that, what that game was like, and what the reaction and how the team reacted with a win like that, coming off of kind of a not a bad week, but a week with some tough losses, and then to get back on track with that win against Clemson.
So I would say like everybody was tired to losing. We are a good team, a really good team, a great competitor, and we really work hard. We really want to win this game because like we have to show like all the work we're doing, and we really have a pretty good team this year. And when we went to this game, it was just like focus on defense, one thing at a time, and just give all the best, and that's the result.
All right, and we welcome in Kenza Salgas as well, Frenchie, as we affectionately call her. How you doing, Kenza?
Hi, I'm doing good, and you?
Doing good, doing good. You're on with myself and Rob from SEC Sidelines. But once again, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and what brought you to Florida.
So my name is Kenza Sag. I'm from France. I'm a senior at the University of Florida. I transferred here 2 years ago. I used to go to the University of Miami, and I just decided to come to Florida just to play for Coach Kelly. And also because I know the SEC is the best conference, and also because I know that Coach Kelly sends a lot of pros. So I just that was like a dream to come here and play for Coach Kelly.
Yeah, and speak to Coach Kelly. We talk about Kelly Ray Finley. I'm a big fan of her shoe game. I'm a big shoe guy, and she's known for her shoes. I see you both smiling, but just talk about what she's meant to you all, the University of Florida, and just the historic kind of run that she's been on. You guys won 2 games in the SEC tournament for the first time since 1997. What was that like, and just what is it like to play for Kelly Kins? I mean, what does that mean?
I mean, from my past experience, and like now it's been a while that I'm in college, and I heard from a lot of friends that plays a little bit of everywhere. It's not every day that you find a coach that actually cares about you as a person, and almost more as a person as a basketball player, and I think it's super important, especially for me and Alexia, for example, because we know from here and we're so far from our family. So it's very reassuring to find a coach that is here for you and supports you and loves you.
Yeah, Lexia.
Yeah, like she said, Coach Kelly, she really cares about us. She really like she care about the human that you are, and yeah, like how the joy she got, the smile every time, every day. She tried to make some jokes too. So yeah, we just love her how she is and how like she care about us, and like she say, we're really far from our own, and like it's like we that's a second home over here.
Yeah, and ladies, say hello to Rob Brown. Rob's a Auburn guy, but knows a lot about SEC sports and basketball. Follows Coach Johnny really well at Auburn. Rob, say hello to the ladies, and I know you got a question for them.
Yeah, for both of y'all, I mean, both from Switzerland and France, what's the big difference that you found in the game over here versus back where you played? And you probably played all over Europe, and I know basketball is extremely popular. I mean, on another level, and it seems like the players that come from Europe work on fundamentals more than the American players.
I'm gonna start with this question. I think personally the biggest difference, the physicality is way more physical here in college than in Europe. I think in Europe is more,
Okay.
I would say, smarter. I think it's more world thinking about the game, and so yeah, I think being more physical here is the biggest difference.
Yeah, and
My bad.
Go ahead, Lexi.
no, yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's like the pace. I think here it's like it's faster. It's more like one on one. I would say basketball, and I would say in Europe is more like she says smart play as like as a team, more passes, more maybe tactic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you watch it. I know in the men's, I go to a lot of Memphis Grizzlies games up here, and you get the European players practice their free throw shooting and just defense, and just like they say that the teams in Europe spend an entire day, once a week, one entire day, just on the basic fundamentals. So I think that's interesting to hear y'all say that.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that, you see a lot more European players coming to the NCAA and being part of the college experience and that kind of thing. But one of our listeners wants to ask you, Kenza, I mean, unfortunately, you guys didn't come out on the winning side, but what was it like going against your old mates against with Miami? It was a pretty big game. You had a pretty good game against them, but just what was that like, going back and going at it with them?
Uh, it was a dream and at the same time a heartbreak. Just it was a dream because like it was like a second chance for me. My time in Miami wasn't the best time I had basketball wise, So it was like a second chance to like actually show who I am and my skills. And a heartbreak because we lost, and it was very personal for me, and I really wanted to win.
Right, for sure. And Lex, I know you didn't come from Miami, but just so far, what's been the highlight of your season? Like we talked about, you seem to have an expanded role with the team now. What's been the highlight so far in this early season for you?
I would say like the highlight. Yeah, are you asking like the highlights for me?
Yeah, what's been a personal highlight for you?
Um, like the highlights for me, like I think it's on defense. Guard the best player on the court. Like don't let them to touch the ball. Like less. I would say my speed, the energy I can give for my teammate, and I would say my pull-up jumper too. I think it can really help my teammates. Like I really want to encourage and be the best for my teammate and myself.
No doubt. And is there a game that stood out this year that you say, yeah, that was a good game. I had a nice game. Is there one that you can pinpoint so far this year?
Um, no, I would say like I play like every time I'm on the court, I do everything. So I think every game I play really good.
No doubt. So speak to this, right now you guys have three McDonald's All-Americans, two freshmen, and a sophomore. Liv McGill is leading, I think, freshman in scoring, things like that. Just speak to, her ability, running the team as a freshman, the ups and downs that can go with that, and just how you all have maybe talked to her and tried to help her through. I see you talking to her, really both of you talking to her quite a bit, but being, highly touted on the national team and then coming to Florida and kind of being handed the keys to the offense. Just how have you kind of try to help her and develop and continue to grow?
Um, I would say like we talk a lot out of basketball. Like we try like to like she need to like to learn a lot. Like on the court, like it's not high school, it's college now. So she working hard every day, and that we can see on the court. Like she tried to lead us, she push us. Yeah, I think she's a really great player, and she just need to learn. That's for her, a wonderful first year for her, and I think here in Florida, she can do a really good things.
And Kenza, what about you with your experience? I mean, what's your conversations with Liv like, and maybe even the other freshmen, Miara, and even Layla as a sophomore, continuing to grow?
You, I help Live a lot with her IQ. Just because like this is one of my biggest strengths. So I try to explain to her like for example like the whys of the plays. And I mean she's tough. Like to be honest, like she's really good. Like she's a really good freshman, and she's gonna be a really good college basketball player. Her vision is really good. She knows how to make passes. She know how to score the basket. So it's not too much to teach her. It's more like telling her sometimes to like slow down, give her confidence. Her turnovers, for example, of course, is gonna happen. She has a lot of playing time. It's her first year playing basketball college, so like she's gonna turn the ball over. So it's more like having her back and tell her like, I got you. Like it's okay. We're gonna get a stop right here. And Layla, I mean Layla coming back from her injury, but she for me is like she's so good. Like her athleticism is really good. Her jump shot is getting better. Her defense is absolutely insane. So yeah, they're just really good basketball player, and the future of Florida is gonna be really good.
And Rob, you talked about it with the European players and their ability to kind of see the game differently from the American players, and you got probably start to see a lot of that start to filter in with the way that the game is changing and things like that. But have you watch Auburn, and like you said, you watch the other games, but I mean, what is as far as the SEC is concerned as a whole, what do you see happening with the women's game down on your end at Auburn and other places? Hello?
I'm sorry. Coaches can't care more than the players, and they've got to both be as committed to the game and hard work. But night in and night out, it's the tough schedule that you play, and iron sharpens iron. When you play a conference like the SEC, the men now it's probably the best conference in America, and the women. I mean, look at the women's programs. Look around this league. There's nowhere to hide. So every night you're going to be challenged. So it just makes it better, and you're going to start seeing a lot more Olympians come out of here. But the fact that you've got two of your players from France and from Switzerland. I've been to France. I've been to Switzerland. They love basketball over there. I've spent a lot of summers over there. They love the sport, and the interest in basketball in this country, people love it. And so with NIL and with the money that's coming in to colleges with the TV contracts, there's more money to pay. I think the SEC men and women basketball is going to do nothing but get better going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the way things going, Jordan happens to be one of the 4 original Jordan schools, Rob, as you know. So the young ladies play Longwood on Sunday, and then they got a big game in the final Jumpman Invitational. It'll be the last year that and you got the women playing UNC as well as the men, which will be a top 15 matchup. But before we will let you go, ladies, just speak to what that opportunity is to play in a setting like Charlotte in the Jumpman with the eyes of basically the basketball world looking in on you.
I mean, first of all, we're playing in the arena, which that doesn't happen like very often. And it's Jordan Brand, and it's the name, it's Michael Jordan. So it's an honor to play in this tournament, especially because we know it's the last year. So we were very lucky to be a part of it, and it's always a great time. I remember last year was very fun. So yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Lex?
I'm really excited for that because I'm really grateful because not a lot of teams can go over there, and that's my last year, so I would enjoy the most I can.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, just hit us real quick, couple quick hitters, and then we'll let you go. Favorite American basketball player, Lex? Male or female?
LaMelo Ball.
Kenza?
Gabby Williams.
Gabby Williams. Okay, cool. How many languages do you each speak?
I speak 3 languages.
3 languages, which are?
French, German, English.
All right. Kenza?
Okay, I want to say I speak 3, but my teammates hating on me and say I only speak 2, only French and English. But I feel like I'm really good at Spanish too.
Okay. All right. And then last, favorite American restaurant? I know what yours is, Kenza.
Yeah, I already know.
Lex?
I would say Chipotle. Yeah, Chipotle.
All right.
Cheesecake Factory for me.
Cheesecake Factory. That's cool. All right, ladies. Well, we appreciate having you on. Thanks a lot. Best of luck to you the rest of the season, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you all.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
Definitely nice to have them on.
Nice people, yeah.
Program growing, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of football and things like that, but like I tell people, not just women's basketball, but the men's basketball team is the 7th ranked team in the country. I mean, they're going to go into that matchup, that historical matchup with Carolina next week, probably undefeated. So, I mean, that's going to be a big, big game, and that'll be the first time that national eyes have been on the Gators for quite some time. So, and you talk about where the programs are going, and all of it's due to the work at Florida Victorious, Freddie Weeby, and others that are really trying to make this thing go. As you see, their membership starts at $15. Definitely support the Florida Gators with Florida Victorious. They put on a lot of great events as well. Got a game day tent set up on the Gator Walk. It's open to all visitors. They had an event in Austin for members, things like that. So I mean, it's definitely something that Florida fans need to get into. We've talked about other schools have kind of adopted that a little bit more. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry. And
you're muted, Rob.
So that's something that
I'm good.
Yeah, that we definitely encourage, and we appreciate Florida Victoria's support as well. Titan MRI, Gainesville and Lake City's newest MRI facility. No insurance, no problem. Claustrophobic, no problem. They got the big tubes. And pretty much you can just call, make an appointment, and basically get right to it. So
new locations, I heard too. So
new locations.
Yeah,
as well,
Lake City, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Think about TitanMRI.com.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hit the QR.
Yeah. So, fellas, Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl. As we finish up, the Gasparilla, the Pirate Bowl, the Gasparilla against a kind of not a wounded Tulane team, but one that looks like it's going to be a little shorthanded with the starting quarterback as well as the backup quarterback. And I think their top running back is going to be absent as well, all going to the transfer portal. So, obviously it's an opportunity for Florida to get 8 wins. Were you guys kind of shocked that it was the Gasparilla and Tulane, or is that kind of where we thought the Gators might land?
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm not. I hope Florida kicks their ass. That quarterback quitting on his team. I really do. I have zero respect. And I'm going to tell you something. I hope those guys are never welcome back to Tulane for any.
Yep.
Any reason whatsoever.
Every reason whatsoever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah. I agree with Rob. There you go, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah, we lost you a little bit, Rob.
I have no respect for that. And I'm telling you.
No, I don't either, Rob. I'm with you.
And I've talked to, we all do. I talked to some players this year, and this kid, he's been at the same school his whole 4 years. And I said, you've had the opportunity to hit that transfer button and quit and have a hissy fit and think the grass is greener on the other side of the street, but you didn't. You stayed here and you fought. And I said, no matter what happens to you in the NFL, I believe you'll have a great career. You will always be able to come back home and be part of that family and the networking. Same thing with these Gators. Last few years have not been easy for them, but I hope the whole Florida team goes to that bowl game and stomps them. And Tulane, those guys, that quarterback, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't let him on my sidelines. I don't give a damn. I wouldn't let him anywhere near my team. He's a toxic. It's cancerous for culture. No way. And I'm not old school. I got 4 kids, and they're 24 to 35, and they all agree with me. I'm tired of the tail wagging the dog. Stop it. It's crazy.
Right. Well, I know a friend of mine's son is starting free safety for Tulane, and he'll be playing. And that's just type of family, that military family, obviously very loyal. So they're coming. But Brendan, Jalen Geiger.
I think
what's his number? I'm going to be pulling for that guy.
Okay.
Honor is dearer than your life. That's a big deal to me.
Yeah. Right.
Brendan, I think it's. I want to call these the opportunity bowls, because I think that's what they are turning out to be, because no one's really going to play. And because the culture's the culture, right? Like, and I get it. Like, so you got this bowl game and you got to kind of limp in, you got to play. No, but are you going to you're going to want to get hurt? Like, there's just nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's not even a good name. Right. So, and Tampa, God. The Gasparilla Bowl? Can we call it like the Swashbuckler Hottie Bowl, or
something like that? I mean, that's a big festival in Tampa.
It's already over, and it's over. And they had it, and the boat came into the Tampa Bay, and they shot off the cannons, and everyone dressed up like swashbucklers, and it's always cold. Right. And you know what? It's over, and that's great. But good for, I think
the Pirate Bowl.
It's pirate.
So are we? So at this point,
whoa.
Go ahead.
Whoa. I listen to me, Linda. What I'm telling you is that I watched the Las Vegas debacle bowl where we had to kick a field goal to not get shut out.
Yeah.
So I think we got a little red ass in this one, and I would like to, have some recovery here. I think it's an opportunity for Billy. I think right now you got to just you got locker room material, everything else. This is a great opportunity for Florida to win and then really finish off the season better than anyone thought, regardless of where they are. So I think Florida really needs to take this seriously.
No, I think they will. From what I understand, like I said, I talked to a couple of coaches last weekend, had a real good talk with them. They were very excited about the opportunity that this is almost like a bye week into a game week.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one thing that because the momentum that they've built, they thought that they would keep going. There haven't been a lot of opt-outs from Florida that you've heard, other than your boy Pyburn. But
not
other
my boy. He's
but
not my
other
boy.
than that,
Stop, calm down.
But other than that,
he's a beast.
It's been pretty much all hands on deck. You've seen Elijah Badger saying that he was playing. Cam Jackson said he was playing. Caleb Banks said he would be back next year. So I think they're going to have a lot of the major players. Obviously, another opportunity for the world to see DJ Lagway on a fairly big stage. For the fact that I don't think there's a lot of games that day, and that kind of all the games are the next day, except for I think Indiana Notre Dame's later in the day. So that'll be the prep to that. So, I mean, I do think, I think that this is an opportunity because of where Florida has been and the narratives and the fact that at one time Billy Napier was thought to be dead man walking, Rob. I think this is a game that Florida will treat very, very serious.
I think Florida doesn't get to 7-5, and I believe they'll get to 8-5 without a strong locker room. There's a lot of loyalty. There's a lot of love among those players between them and the coaches. And the Florida fans love this team, and they're going to really love the ones that stay and play in that bowl game. I really believe this, that you're starting to see this already, getting the cold shoulder. These guys that bail on their teams and quit. I mean, these are lessons you learn as a kid. And my pet peeve is, if you expect your team to play a full 60 on Saturday, by God, stay a full 60. I can't stand anybody that leaves a game early. We're trying to beat the traffic. Then why did you come? Thank God tickets are on email now, and people like that, if they're not going to come, email your tickets to someone who will stay the full 60. You've got to learn about honor and commitment and following through. And I'll tell you right now, the adults are just completely acquiescing and capitulating to the 18-year-olds. This stuff will stop when you start saying, we're done. We ain't going to pay you.
Right.
You're letting the tax tail wag the dog if you're afraid to sell a stock because you're worried about the taxes or the capital gains, long or short term or ordinary. You can't do that.
Right.
Rob,
let me ask you a question. You know those folks. Does Tulane travel?
No.
How are they at travel?
Hell no. They were giving away tickets and they were literally, I think, paying people to come on Thanksgiving night when the Memphis Tigers went down there and curb stomped them WWE style. All I know, if they want to make the Gasparilla the Pirate Bowl fun, have Peter Sarsgaard come there from the Pirate Convention and ask a question. Well, if a fellow was wanting to get him a good roast beef sandwich, where might he go? Arby's.
The Gasparilla Bowl.
Well, here's the thing about it, Brendan.
Kill him some ducks. Where would he go?
But
Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, one thing about it, Brendan. Despite it all, we will both be there for the Gasparilla Bowl.
Because y'all are not putting on your team.
What's that now?
I'm drinking.
Y'all are sticking through it. I love
it.
And we don't have a choice, dude. We have to go.
Well, I'm gonna tell you though, because Gator Bait, we do it real now. All these other places, because next week we're gonna be reporting live from the final Jumpman Invitational.
Yeah.
So the national, I will be in the house live and in color. So we it'll definitely be an opportunity. But all these things. I mean, we jump on these things and we're there, and I think that's what makes this thing fun, and at least. Because we do like the Florida Gators, things like that, but we have really, I mean, this has been a season for the ages. I mean, we were, you think about it, 10 weeks ago, It was not looking good, and we were having different conversations. And now we're talking about 8
Now we're in the Gasparilla Bowl,
and now we're in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Yes.
But is it 8 wins or is it the gas? I mean, you can't have it both ways. It's either you got it.
I'll never be
take that
happy
8 wins
unless it's the Natty, bro. I'm
Well,
never
hey,
gonna
well,
be
yeah,
happy unless it's the Natty.
You're like
Not
hey. I mean,
Gas Bowl.
well, let me ask you this: do we have a natty team next year?
I don't know because the portal's going to rip everyone apart.
No,
so it doesn't matter. This is the new normal.
It's Jack Pyburn. Relax.
No, it is the sign of the times.
But everybody else is dealing with that too, Brendan.
Yeah, but it's just gonna be. It's not just Florida. It's gonna be everybody else. It's just like going to the gentleman's club and somebody with a bunch of singles is just making it rain.
Would you
right now.
Would you trade a transfer for 2 or 3 that want to come play for Lagway?
No, I wouldn't trade DJ Lagway for anything.
No. I said that want to. So you lose one that's a decent player, but you get 2 or 3 because they want to come play with Lagway and make the team better.
That's not I cannot play that game because you're I mean, who is it? Position? I mean, there's way more.
Receiver.
That goes into receiver. I mean, okay, how good? Like, what are we talking about? Where is he coming from? Is he playing the SEC? Is he coming from the SEC?
CJ Daniels from LSU. Is in the portal.
Okay, he's in the portal. Do we need him?
Yes.
Okay. So do we pay him? But do you pay him?
I would. I don't know
how much would you pay him.
Well,
how much would you pay him?
I don't know. What was he making at LSU?
You tell me how much is a college athlete coming from another program who's young? How much is that worth to you? Right now, I mean, does that have value?
Well, it's worth very little to me, but I'm different. I'm like Rob, so I'm on the other side of it.
Which is
it's worth nothing to me. I think kids should play football because they want to play football.
I know what we all think, but we are living in this new reality. So it's like and when I say the portal is going, maybe not the portal, but it's. I mean, if you follow, on X and all these stuff, like it is like people just offering money everywhere. I mean,
that's what they're doing.
Control.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a player, I'm gonna go get mine. Who wouldn't, right? So can you blame them because everyone's dangling? And it's not like it's just some crap team like it's Tulane's program. It's Bama.
So
we're doing the same thing.
You could be bought, Brendan. You could have been bought.
We all
20 years.
Bought.
No, I couldn't have been bought.
Okay. Well, yeah, I could have been bought for $1 million.
If Steve Spurrier would have recruited me and given me a scholarship to the University of Florida, and I was playing, I couldn't be bought. Okay. No way.
Okay. Well, even with face of the fact that what if you were going to know you were going to play in the pros?
What's that?
What if you knew you were going to make $1 in the pros? You were going to play,
and I'm playing at Florida,
and you're putting your body on the line.
Oh yeah, you give it to me.
Well, then you're very purist. Because I don't know, a lot of people are not going to take the money, and parents are not going to say, "Son, go get the money and go secure your future." And I don't give a shit about a program.
And I can get money, and I can get money just by signing a few autographs and things like that.
Wait a minute, is Florida loyal? Because are we not kicking kids in the portal when we need space?
Well, they've been doing that. Even before NIL, even before the transfer portal.
I know, but I'm just saying, like from the perspective of the athlete, aren't you going to go get what you can get, what the free market is going to bear?
No,
Rob?
I'm not.
Rob,
I'm not. I'm not going to look. I'm like you, Rob. I'm not going to look my guys in the eye and roll on them. I'm not.
Look, you look at how many businesses are out there of guys that went to school together. Private equity, venture capital. Dave Tompkins is on our show every week. West Point graduate from Birmingham. Grew up an Alabama fan, but he does venture capital startup companies all over the country with veterans. He gets some seed capital to work. That's loyalty. You know why? Because they all know what you go through to be a United States soldier, a Marine, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, okay? That's a big-ass deal. And we pay enlisted servicemen, maybe an E1, maybe 20,000, 22,000. We don't pay them a whole lot, but we ask them to defend this country and to fight for us. You talk about loyal. My brother-in-law, Kurt, 26 years in the Marine Corps, 7 combat tours. He said, he said, a great quote. He said, everything from the federal government I paid for.
Well, Elon, we need a boost, Elon. Where are you? We're working out, Rob. Rob's got brand new satellite, it's sat internet, and it's not his fault. He's running. You there, Rob? There you go.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're back, Rob. Come back. There you go, Rob. There you go.
But I'm just saying, you can't get that kind of camaraderie, that closeness, that love of one another unless you've been through hell. You all made it. You all met the standard and came through it. And I see the way Kurt is respected. I mean, 26 years in the Marine Corps. There's nothing. These kids in college are supposed to be learning the lessons of life, loyalty, commitment, staying through. I don't know Billy Napier, and I don't, but there's something about this guy. And I've always said that even when I was criticizing him, his father coached from a wheelchair. This guy loves football. And I think he loves the people around him, and I think they love him too. I'm talking to people that know him, unsolicited, that don't know one another. And they all go, the guy, if you know him, you will love Billy Napier.
People love him. They love him.
And his players do. Look at the Atlanta Braves. I know y'all are a lot of Rays fans in Florida. Alex Anthopoulos, he will not allow any cancer cultures in his clubhouse. Get your ass out of my clubhouse. Look what the Braves do. They sign those long-term contracts to these guys. Now, they renegotiate them later, but they are building a team. That's how you build a team. When I was a kid, I listened to AM 700, WLW, Cincinnati, the Big Red Machine.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up like that. Guys, we're screwing people out of that. Young kids today are not growing up knowing the roster like we did. Hell, when y'all talk about John Brantley at Florida, I remember because growing up in the SEC, these are legends and when that guy walks in a room, you know damn well that's a full-grown man in there, and he is loved and respected by not just his teammates, but Florida people and people that know what his story is in life. We've got to get back to that. I'm all about making money, but put it in age-banded and incentive-based trust. Let the kids get it later. They need to be college. When was the last time anyone talked about getting a degree? It's a slap in the face of everyone else who's a legitimate college student. Let's make it as normal as we can. They're not pros. I'm against anything that makes college more like the NFL. Let them get their money if they're good enough to get to the NFL. Quit gouging the fans.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm, and like I said, I'm probably super naive, and
you're not.
And
you're not naive.
Well, no,
you're
what
right.
I'm saying is, I gotta believe that there is still somebody out there that picks a school because of other things than money. I just have to, with the way that I love the game of football. And, I mean, and I want to say this just because this gets replayed a million times. This is not, we talked about Pyburn because that's the news of the day.
Yeah.
But I don't know the young man. I don't know,
I don't either.
But I don't want to call him a can't. We don't know. From what all intents and purposes, I know he's a great young man. Like Brendan said, and I agree with this, this is just the reality of where we are now. I want to make it clear that we have not made an indictment on any young man as a person. We're just speaking for ourselves personally
in general terms
we make.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I just want to, just make sure that, but I just, like I said, I have, and maybe that's me being naive and we can call it a night after this, but I just got to believe that, like you said, Rob, that somebody that a Florida degree means something, an Ohio State degree means something, a Michigan degree means something. And I can still make a little money to not just help provide for, but put myself a little nest egg or something away or whatever if I don't make the NFL. But you got that Michigan, you got that Florida degree, you got all those things that are going to give you opportunities. But I'll call it naive. I mean, Brendan,
you're not naive. What about the pre-law student?
I just don't think anyone really knows right now. And I think, I'm gonna give him everyone gets a mulligan. You all get a mulligan. Retee it. Go back. It's fine. It's okay. We had fun. Let's let this little, skirmish, whatever we're gonna do at the end of this thing, and let's retool it and make it better. And I think right now, I've been on the air. I think every day for like 365 days, 4 or 5 hours a day with Rob and Lauren. It's joking around, but like I've just sit here. I've just had this vantage of like watching this whole thing happen, and it's just I just feel like we got the most that we're going to get this year as a whole. I think it was a pretty good year, better than we thought it was going to be. And I think right now, whether it's Florida, whether it's Ole Miss, whether it's Alabama or whatever it is, I think we're going to sort of reset ourselves because we'll have a little bit of we had in the past and a little bit we're going to have in the future. What that looks like right now, I don't know. There needs to be some guardrails. We've discussed that. How does that look? I just think it's all going to come down to leadership at the end. And I think we start there with, is there a commissioner? Is there a czar? Whatever it is. And then let's have some real rules so that we can play. Because right now you can kind of get away with anything.
Yeah. Okay. The fans are going to rise up and they're going to be boycotts. Fans can go in the portal. They talk about a player worried about getting hurt. Hey, fans can get hurt driving to the game. They can be in a car wreck. They can twist their ankle walking to the game coming off a curb. Quit kissing these kids' asses. You know what?
You just got to play your game.
Young kids. You don't let your kids tell you what to do. I don't.
An organized
program
hate
me
right
I'm
now
hard, but I'm fair. We got, but you're not wrong, both of y'all. I think what we got to do is you look at a guy like Billy Napier. And it'd be so cool to have him on this show and talk to him. But that guy.
Yeah, let's keep talking, Rob.
I'm going to have to go.
But he won't do it. He won't do it. He's not going to do it. But I'm saying, I'd like to know why his players love him so much.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it. I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
Did you have? By the way, did you have any
with a 55-gallon drum of whoop ass all over Tulane? I think they're going to kill him.
The wave is going to get waved. Did you have any news about Pyburn, or did you already share it? I didn't.
But we talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it.
We just want to reset,
but we can reset it. Yes, on the way out. From what I've heard, what I was told, and from reliable sources, that it does have to do with NIL money, and that is at the center of the decision. Texas A&M has been mentioned as a suitor. There is some relationship there with Coach Chaos. I can't remember his last. I'm drawing a blank. And then Jay Bateman is the defensive coordinator there. So there is some, Scooby Williams is there. Yeah. There is some familiarity between Florida and Texas A&M as far as
they got some money there.
And I think there's some support staff that's also there. And that, it's Texas A&M. So, to kind of put a bow on the Pyburn, that's what I was told, to kind of reiterate that. And I'm sure we're going to discuss it tomorrow night with Ali Peak Wilbur and Carlton Reese and Buddy. And you guys will kind of talk about it on your show, Rob, as well. Brendan will probably address it again Thursday with Ben and others. So, and Friends is always good about having some nuggets as well. But that's what I was initially told by someone who is familiar with the collective, and then another person that seems to be in the know from a media standpoint, and kind of. So that's what we had to report. And let's face it, I think we could call a spade a spade. Did we think it was going to be anything else with a guy like that's playing big minutes and doing well? I mean, like you said, Brendan, I think we can almost answer that question on a daily basis when a kid goes in the portal now. Unless, I don't
know, Lauren, I guess I have a question is like, I guess we didn't want to counter, right? I guess he wanted to go and just get money, and we didn't have an opportunity to count. Is that how that works?
I would assume that there was a counter made, and the counter was not enough in reality. Wow. So whatever.
Have you heard any numbers? Like what?
I have not heard any numbers. No, but I would assume
it's more than $20
that there was a meeting of the minds, and maybe Pyburn thought he might be better off elsewhere from what I heard. And, and that's all, like I said, that is speculation only. And once again, I want to reiterate, when we discuss these things, we don't know these young men personally. And I think it's reckless sometimes for us to assume that they are bad people. Cause like Brendan said, this is where we are now. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I want to, yeah, it's very important that we at least say that, but, like Dan Bond just said, I heard 500K.
God,
so
if that's your son,
That's look, I just in the structure again. I deal with it, man. I manage people's money. I've never had a wealthy family in 33 years ever. Not one time, give money to their children. They don't give them anything. They give them an allowance. They want them to be hungry because the first generation employs, the second enjoys, and the third destroys almost every time unless you make the kids work. I'm just saying, you're going to have these 18-year-old kids. How many of them are investing in the stock market, putting it in a good index fund, and building for the future? We're not teaching financial literacy.
I mean, shout
You're
out
just
to
giving these people money for
some of them
going out.
Shout out, well, and this we could plug the Florida Gators. I mean, shout out to Savannah Bailey and the Gator Maid because they are doing that. I mean, so
good. See, that's what I'm saying.
I think the collectives are stepping in here quite a bit. I've heard other schools doing a lot of that stuff.
No, they are. That's what I'm saying. Teach financial literacy, and then you're going to have a bunch of millionaires that'll give back to the school one day that gave to them. That's all I'm saying. I'm a complete capitalist. They ought to get paid. Just defer it is a little bit. Give them a little bit, but defer it.
And before we go, and I know we got to get out of here, but I will say this too. And this one I find a little because Brendan, this is from an X and O standpoint, and Rob, that there was also I don't necessarily believe this that there were, and I'm gonna tell you why, that there were guarantees on playing time. Maybe, but every SEC school for years, and really all colleges do it now. They even do it with receivers, where you're in and out. You're situational, you're positional, and I don't know if that was I would say that was maybe not as because teams are like we talked about at the beginning of the year. Ole Miss had 7 defensive linemen and they played them all. I mean, you get guys and you want that rotation to keep guys fresh so they can get after the quarterback. So I would say that was less of, but I don't know. I mean, but that was another thing that was put out there, that there was a guarantee of some playing time. And that was not necessarily promised. Or
look, the money's out there now. It ain't going to be there much longer. I'm telling you, you can only go to your people so many times.
Cash in now because that's going to change. I think
the free market's going to take this thing down. Like you watch, it's happening.
Well, do we get Sean Spencer was the D-line coach. Thank you, Toby. Appreciate you on that. But so
got a bunch of smart viewers on this show.
We got no the smartest.
Yeah,
viewers.
Definitely appreciate Toby, big supporter of the show. A lot of people out there. Buck Wade, obviously Dan, Larry Gross. Rob, who you got tomorrow before we let you go?
Man, it's gonna be crazy. Got Jake Wimberly down in Jackson, Mississippi on his Matrix. He picks the national champion just about every year. Jacques Doucet out of Baton Rouge talking some LSU. Dudley Dawson, Hogville.net on the Hogs. Vince Ferrara up in Knoxville. And we'll touch on all 16 of the SEC teams. Hey, just remember this. It's always darkest before dawn. We're getting closer to enough crash and burns of NIL to where this stuff's going to fix itself. Hang in there, everybody. Better times ahead. I promise you.
Appreciate you, Rob.
That's how I see it. Okay.
All right, boss. Thanks a lot, Rob. Appreciate you having me on, man. Appreciate it every week.
Night.
And finally, we want to end with our sponsor, Renstar Medical Research. A superior medical research facility, Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Most definitely. And appreciate you, Brendan. We unpacked a lot tonight, man. It was a lot,
it's in the air tonight, my friend. Folks, be careful. I don't know if it's a full moon, but it sure as hell feels like one tonight.
Well, maybe if the worst was today and we could just get to the business of the Gasparilla and I'm gonna tell you, man. I know we got that game, but man, I mean, you got to give a shout out to Ty Golden and the 7th ranked. I mean, that's going to be a huge game with them in Carolina. I mean, undefeated.
Talking basketball.
I mean, it's
January 1st.
Well,
No, actually,
I mean, that's going to be big, though.
I know. They have. They have it, and I'm going to go up to a game. My daughter's real excited to see them. They are awesome. Yeah. Defense. They're killing it out there. It's like the Detroit Pistons.
But we'll unpack it a lot more tomorrow as well with Buddy and Allie Peak Wilbur tomorrow night, Carlton Reese, and I'm sure Allie will have some tidbits for us as well. I mean, this thing is going to grow, and it's going to die down, and we'll start talking about the game next week. But I appreciate you a lot, Brendan, man. Great show.
Great show, everybody. Thanks to our guests.
And all of our sponsors and everything in between. And, be good to your people. I don't know why that came up. Be good to your people. We will talk to you. Good night, Lauren. Good night,
boss.
John Boy, everybody. Good night, everybody.